Test. Now it's green. Now it's live.
Okay,
So
Can you
welcome
hear me?
everybody to our Friday night Cleveland Photographic Society. And those of you at home, if you live close, you could probably get in here in time. I'll have people move together so there's room in here if you want to come join us. We really appreciate people coming up in person. Our Friday night, or actually all Friday night, our announcements, what we've got coming up is next Friday night is a bee competition. And I really encourage you to come in for a bee competition because these are the people who don't have as much experience and they probably like to rub elbows with some of the regular members and get feedback from more astute people that can help them out. Then next Friday night, we have our critique night, which was actually started by our prior president, Richard. And critique night has been very popular where you can send in images and everyone here will not judge you, but will critique. You're allowed to send in up to 3 images. Just send them to info@clevelandphoto.org and put critique in the subject line of your email so we know what it is. Our next meeting, November 22nd, is a print competition, and always when we have a print competition going on, we have something else going on, and our own Vicki Wirt is going to give us an introduction to macro photography. She's recently come close to placing. I'm not sure where that is, but she's got an image that's being looked at, I think, on an international level. So just awesome photographer. And then that'll be a creative competition print night after that. Then we have on November 29th, How to Shoot in Hard Light Situations by Scott Robert Lim. I think we could all use that when we occasionally get sunny days in Cleveland. And then our SIG meeting, which we have once a month, is going to be our own Dave Bush, is always going to do architectural photography. And we still have our mat cutting going on, and those are the November 5th, 9th, December, well, the November's dates are, 5th and 9th coming up, 19th coming up, 3rd and 17th in December. And please don't bring in your own personal images to be matted. What this is for is new members that we want to see how to mat their images. And our darkroom door is up. If you've never read it, a lot of interesting information, things about our club members and how the club functions and so forth. That's on our website. So with that, I'm going to get ready to bring our images up, but I want to tell you a little bit about our judges tonight. I'm going to sit down for this because I can't do this standing up. We always appreciate our judges. So we have, as always, 3 judges that are outside. They're not club members. The first is Bud Hirsch, and Bud is a retired professor and advanced amateur photographer, and he actually also became the father of Jeff Hirsch, who is an Adobe certified instructor and has his own YouTube channel. So he's gone places. Keith Blandford is our other one of our other judges. He became interested and immersed in photography 70 years ago. He was a yearbook photographer, then worked in a camera store after high school, and experimented in photography, going so far as mixing his own high-speed black and white and color developers. During his working and family-raising years, he did not shoot as much, but did stay involved working in other media. Retiring about 20 years ago, he was bitten again by the photo bug and started shooting, competing, teaching, judging, and exhibiting his work. Some behind-the-scenes shooting on student movie projects led to an interest in his favorite genre, street photography. And finally, Pete Copeland self-identifies by saying, although my byline is C.H. Pete Copeland, I'm known by my family and friends as Pete. I was raised and born in the Washington, D.C., Maryland area. My photographic training and education began in the U.S. Navy, where I served for 4 years. I worked as a corporate photographer for several years until I joined the photographic staff of the Washington Evening Star. When the Star died a slow death in the late 70s, I was hired by the Cleveland Plain Dealer as a photojournalist. After almost 30 years, I retired from the newspaper in 2006. My wife and I just celebrated our 53rd wedding anniversary. We have 3 children and 3 grandchildren. Happily, I can report that each of them are creative in their own special way. So let us get going here with our black and white. We have 58 black and white images. They're all going to get comments, and we're probably going to move right into our pictorial after that, since we don't have as many images.
Keith says, this captures the person. You get a good feeling of meeting her. I think the crop is too tight. I'd like to know the context, location of the story. And the crop at the bottom would be better if it did not cut off the jewelry and neckline so much. I probably would have made her eyes a little brighter.
The image is called Aunt B by Bryant Mohammed, 21 points.
Good composition and emphasis on the dealer is the main subject with the cards. Subduing the hand upper left and player's upper right is well done and appropriate to keep the viewer's eye on the dealer.
The image is called Blackjack by Gary Merrick, 21 points.
Pete's comment, great idea, great lines, pull back and let me see more lines or lack of lines. Find another rainy day and go back and see what you can do with space on both sides of the bridge. I like the bridge, just would like more space on each side.
The image is called Bridge to Nowhere by DJ Casanidi, 21 points.
I like the connection, Keith says. I feel like I am being looked at. I think the eyes could be a little brighter. I think I would have made the body a little darker to differentiate the body and face. My brain had to work on separating the face. And a darkening vignette would focus more on the face too.
The image is called Cheetah by Rachel Kovacs, 21 points.
Maurice says, good scene and the capture to have the smoke distinct. Might go for more high contrast overall, though. Trees on the right side do not add to the image. See how some separation of the tank cars from the background might help.
Cleveland Steel Mill Tracks by Dave Korosek, 20 points.
Pete's comment, love this image, love the approach, very good crop. Print quality is very good. Only add to make this picture great is some life.
Cold Rocky Shore by Bill Keaton, 24 points, second place.
Obviously, a very strong image, Keith says. The dark vignette and shadowy background is perfect. The bloom detail is perfect too.
Curled Edge by Jane Sidney, 24 points, second place.
Maurice says, well composed and lit. Good capture of the clouds and water, which yield complementary shapes, movements. Good contrast level.
Flooded Road by Daniel Sandy, 25 points, first place.
Pete's comment, wish the highlights had a little detail. A whiteboard by camera may have balanced the contrast. Good camera eye to see other art in the background.
Follow Your Nose by Bryant Mohammed, 17 points.
Keith says this could be an interesting image. Your eye follows a dark shadow down the long platform. I think it is too bright. There is a loss of detail because of being so bright. Maybe it is overexposed and the detail is just not there.
FPP Sonic ISO 25 by Eric Wethington, 17 points.
Maurice says, bit muddy, needs better contrast choices. Tripod should be better separated to expose this and set them off. Not sure if the furthermost tripod is needed. It intersects with a closer one. Try more high contrast.
Hobo Tripods by DJ Casanidi, 22 points.
Pete's comment, good study in texture lighting is very good composition, is right on the point. I would like to see more of this work of art.
Holding On by John Paganini, 23 points, third place.
Keith says this is a great shot. Clearly the cat is looking at something and thinking, what's it going to do next? Small thing, the board at the bottom is bright and to some extent leads the eye away from the subject. I think I would have selectively darkened the board a bit.
House Cat by Mike Kopkas, 22 points.
Maurice says, clear image and separation of face from the background and clothing from the background. Could open the shadows on the eyes so that we can see them more. And is there any more detail in the mouth?
Inuit Fisherman, Greenland by Jackie Sayeski, 24 points, second place.
Pete's comment, the golfer has good form. Lighting is great. Timing's right on. Only question, is it a hole in one? The photographer kept his head down.
Kyle by Gary Merrick, 18 points.
Keith says it certainly challenges my brain to understand its complexity. Fun to try to different explanations for what this is, but I can't come up with an explanation. And it is monotonous. I keep looking for a subject or clue to story, and it's not there.
Library Tiles by Ron Werman, 21 points.
Maurice says, increase the exposure on the background and rock formation to better separate these from the cloud skies. Otherwise, well done.
Magic Rock by Jane Sidney, 24 points, second place.
Pete's comment, print quality is spot on. I would like to see the lighting setup. I have a friend with a great beard I would like to use this setup on.
Magnolia Blossom by Belinda Prince, 25 points, first place.
Keith says this is a great shot. I feel like I am there starting to ascend the stairway, and I clearly see the destination. I might have used Photoshop to remove the trash on the stairs, but arguably the trash is part of the story. Others have been there and left their mark.
Marble Room Stairs by Dan Sandy, 23 points, third place.
Maurice said, muddy, with subjects walking away from the camera, need to open up the head and eyes of the adult, and the chick is just there, no real interest.
Mommy and Me by Fran Marino, 21 points.
Pete says, great image, great lighting, good timing. This image will sell quickly. A large print should be hanging behind the desk in any office. I like this image and wish I had shot it.
Moon Jellies by Marge Brady, 24 points, second place.
I love the tranquility and simplicity, Keith says. I would just make the two birds a little darker and contrasty to stand out more against the background. Especially the lower bird could stand out more, just a little. And would a little vignette on the right and bottom focus more on the story?
My House by Lance Mayer, 23 points, third place.
Maurice says, good capture and cropping. Just enough separation of subject from the background to work. Viewer is drawn to the man's eyes, which is the most important.
My Son Anthony by Fran Marino, 24 points, second place.
Pete says, good headshot, good lighting. Subject will be happy with this picture. After that, I see nothing I have not seen before. Good job.
Nathan by Marge Brady, 23 points, third place.
Keith says, I feel invited to climb the stairs and knock, holding on the handrail because of rough steps. Consider vignetting the edges, especially the white wall. The door could be a tad lighter to show more detail because it is the destination.
Old Irish Steps by Bonnie Luxo, 23 points, third place.
Maurice says, good capture, good detail and cropping. Might get a bit more light in the eyes themselves. Nicely done.
Owl by Joe DiStefano, 24 points, second place.
Pete's comment, good image would make the customer very happy. I have seen this image many times before. Great quality print.
Pas de Trois, I hope I pronounced that right, by Susan Bestel, 25 points, first place.
Bombsheller, Keith says, root cellar. Fun to imagine its purpose and history. Is the wall on the left distracting because it is bright? It could be darkened. Consider cropping off some of the right side, making that wall area about the same size as the left wall area. The door off center might have more impact.
Random Door by Eric Wethington, 24 points, second place.
Maurice said, good angles and light shadows capture. Only distracting part for me is the windows on the top left. Perhaps crop those out, but doing so would also cut out the roof angle.
Shadowy Illusions by Mike Kopkis, 25 points, first place.
Pete's comment, if you are selling wood shavings, this is a good image. If you are selling took bad lighting. If you are selling image you miss, go back and look again.
Shavings by Lance Mayer, 23 points, third place.
Keith says, certainly this is a very strong image. The contrast is perfect. What do you think about making it less symmetrical by cropping off about half of the left side? When I do that, it becomes more interesting.
Solitude by Melanie Plummer, 20 points.
Maurice says, while I understand this is a dark scene, it also is hard to have the viewer make out what is there in the details. Interesting subject, but it needs some exposure, contrast, separation of its parts.
Spooky Wine Cellar by Paul Gilia, 21 points.
Pete's comment, wonderful image. Is this real or creative computer image? Whatever it is, I'm envious. Wonderful, I wish I was there.
Stone Soldiers of the Valley by Bob Kowaleski, 24 points, second place.
Keith says, I can hear the seal and smell the ocean. I feel like I am there. Painting is an addictive art. We start with a blank canvas and add until we make our story. Photography is subtractive. We take away until we are left with just a story. Applying that logic, I would remove some sky, maybe a third, and remove quite a bit from the right and some from the left. Focus on the seal, not losing the location. End up with the seal in the upper third hotspot, the place our eyes go first.
Sunning on the Rocks by Belinda Prince, 22 points.
Maurice says, while the wall on the left is sharp, stairs are mostly soft. Not sure what the object taking up the middle, lower right helps at all. If allowed in the rules, I would try to use generative AI to remove it.
The Fifth Step by I'm sorry, I can't read this. Hang on a minute. Carmela Orban, 19 points.
Pete's comment. The photographer has a good eye for composition. Print quality is great. Just one thing would make this perfect. Some form of life, even small, like a person riding a horse, way in the background. But that's just me. I like this image.
The Lost Bident of Hades by Bob Kowaleski, 23 points, third place.
This is a great shot, Keith says. Perfect in all respects. The range of light to dark is excellent, and there is no loss of detail.
The Night Train by Jackie Sieski, 25 points, first place.
Maurice's comment, nice composition and use of sepia instead of pure black and white, white-black. Man is in good position looking at the camera. Wonder if the capture would have been improved to have the subjects sorry. I wonder if it would be improved to have the subject's camera point at the way the man's eyes are.
The Photographer's Gaze by Bill Keaton, 25 points, first place.
Pete's comment. Good image, great moment. All around a good print. I may burn the upper right to keep the viewer's eye in the image.
The Thinker by Joe Smith, 21 points.
One gets a feeling of motion like it is in flight, Keith says. You really are challenged to understand it in a good way. I have a problem understanding it because much of the principal parts are out of focus. I am not sure it needs that much black area altogether. It is sort of overwhelming.
Tiger Lily, Black and White by Joseph Miko, 23 points, third place.
Maurice says, fun to figure out what exactly is being captured here. I'm glad to leave myself guessing rather than enlarging the image to the size to see the details of the center. Overall, this image works in shape and composition.
Walking Superior Viaduct by Joe DiStefano, 24 points, second place.
Pete's comment. Wonderful eye, great print. Very interesting composition. Breaking old rules of thirds. For me, only thing missing is a life form. It's not needed, but would make a different picture. I like this image.
Walking with Giants by Jerry Pano, 22 points.
Keith says this is a very peaceful shot. I feel like I'm there on the bank waiting for them to quench their thirst. I'd try a vignette all around. That might make the left side work better. The way the body is abruptly cut off would be softened by a vignette, maybe.
Wild Horses, Wyoming by Jackie, and I'm sorry, Jackie, the name is cut off, the last name. Bosinger. Okay, Jackie Bosinger, 23 points, third place.
Maurice says, nice play of light and shadows. However, assuming the pieces are either white or black, it's hard to see the distinction on the four centerpiece chess pieces. Nice idea with the shadows on the back wall.
Zagreb by Graham Stead, 23 points, third place.
Pete's comment. I like this print. But something is missing to make this image interesting. Print quality is spot on. I want more from this image.
On the Move by Andrew Guroy, 21 points.
Keith says, I get the feeling that the monkey is feeling, I think. Maybe that is the intent. To me, there is a lot of tension. I'm uncomfortable with the image. I do a lot of street photography, and certainly many of my shots are very uncomfortable, so I am not being negative.
Baby Orangutan by Bonnie Luxo, 19 points.
Rory says, bit distorted given the angle of the image, but that might be what the maker wants. Otherwise, nice, clean image. Might open up the exposure on the insides of the vehicle.
Birding by John Paganini, 17 points.
Pete says, print quality is good. Lighting's good for the subject. Lens choice is bad. Distortion in the front hand drawing my eye from the image. The twin highlights in the model's eyes are good.
Caught by Carmela Orban, 21 points.
Keith says, this is powerful and fun. Keep looking and you will discover all sorts of details. Do you see the man's face in the top? And there are little details all over that are suggestive. It's very creative along with being technically excellent.
Contagion by Melanie Plummer, 23 points, third place.
Rory says, good separation of tree from both background and foreground. Good contrast choices overall. Nicely done.
Dreamweaver by Jerry Pano, 21 points.
This is a good image, Pete says. Simple composition leaves my mind open to many possibilities. My mind is washed with ideas of what is happening here, what will happen here. Great print quality.
Interrogation by Jackie Bosinger, 23 points, third place.
Keith says this tells the story perfectly. The symmetry of the waves is well presented. I'm a big fan of vignettes, so I probably would have darkened the left and bottom slightly to emphasize the direction from past to future. Well done.
Mallard at Acacia Reservation by Graham Stead, 23 points, third place.
Rory says, the whole image seems to be in one contrast and exposure range. Would be nice to have main subjects stand out a bit from the background. Also, if possible, would like to see the full shadows of man and horse. Having the main subject centered does not work as well as if part of the left were cropped and the shadow extended.
Navajo by Joe Smith, 21 points.
Pete says, I've seen this picture before by other artists. This one's the best. Timing is spot on, print quality is spot on, composition is spot on. I can feel the waves. I like this image.
Ocean Waves, black and white by Joseph Miko, 23 points, third place.
Keith says, I feel his presence and I'm a little uncomfortable. This is a small nitpicky suggestion. I had a problem at first seeing the lower jaw versus the body. Maybe darken the lower jaw edge a bit or darken the body a bit. Just something to more clearly differentiate. Maybe brighten the eyes to make it even more scary.
Roar by Rachel Kovacs, 23 points, third place.
Rory says, good clean image, nice contrast and details. Could remove the two subjects on the lower left and lower right. Otherwise, well done.
Style and Speed by Paul Gilia, 24 points, second place.
Pete's comment. Good portrait of a sailboat. Where's the crew? Good print quality. It's a very good picture of this boat.
The Picton Castle Tall Ship by Susan Bestel, 22 points.
Keith says, the sport of kings. All the parts work together to tell the story of the sport. The action of the tale makes it come alive.
Whip My Hair Back and Forth by Jordan Tetzel, 22 points. And that concludes the black and white portion. Yeah, we'll just go on to pictorial. These are all comments, or are we just commenting on? All right.
Depends what it's called.
Beechwood School violinist.
No.
No.
Okay. Well, then I'll just read the no comment sections, and then
Okey-doke.
we get down to a birthday surprise will be the first comment one.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so this one's called Beechwood School Violinist by Susan Bestel, 20 points. Bridal Veil Falls by Rick Mills, 23 points. Cleveland Reflection by Jordan Tetzel, 23 points. Coneflowers at Blossom by Ron Werman, 20 points. Guided Steps by John Paganini, 21 points. Hard Bank by Eric Botsky, 24 points, third place. Havana Glen, Ithaca, New York by Dave Korosek, 25 points, second place. Hungry Hippo by Bonnie Luxo, 22 points. Monument Valley by Joe Smith, 22 points. Old Man China by Richard Ader, 23 points. All right, it's hard to read here. Paradolia by Rachel Kovacs, 22 points. Pastoral Morning by Paul Gilia, 21 points. Pepsi by Graham Stead, 23 points. Plentiful by Melanie Plummer, 24 points, third place. Snowy Owl by Joseph Miko, 23 points. Soaking in the Sun by Eric Botsky, 23 points. Step into Autumn by Jerry Pano, 25 points, second place. Swing Bridge by Rick Mills, 23 points. Trapped People by Jordan Tetzel, 25 points, second place. Village Bridge in China by Richard Ader, 23 points. Windy Day at Headlands by Jackie Bosinger, 20 points. All right. And this is, comment.
Maury says, always fun to see these images. Good framing using the bushes and the trees on both sides. Given their sharp focus, it's okay that the rest of the image is soft. Possible to open up the exposure on the reds in the sky?
A Birthday Surprise by Eric Botsky, 21 points.
Pete says, very good composition, very good print. Needs something in sharp focus. I can feel the water. I like the idea of the picture.
Autumn Leaves by Joe DiStefano, 21 points.
Keith says, I feel like I am there. The houses are mysterious. I suggest focusing more on the subjects by cropping away a fair amount of the top and right. Subtract from the image until you are left with the basic story. Photography is a subtractive art.
By the Light of the Moon by Lance Mayer, 22 points.
Maury says, well composed and rendered. Nice reflections of the sky, clouds in the stream. Subtle and muted works. Good framing of the trees with bright sides, with bright ones in the center back.
Dundee Falls Downstream by David Korosek, 24 points, third place.
Pete says, very nice picture, good composition, good eye for color. Nothing I can add to make this image better. I would like to see the print cropped a little from the left and right.
Flying to Mexico by Jane Sidney, 21 points.
Keith says there are a lot of interesting colors in this composition. I can feel the stare from the bird. The challenge with this is the fact that it was enlarged too much and it is quite grainy. That appears to also have distorted some colors. We all have made shots that had to be enlarged too much to make sense, but then suffered from loss of detail and becomes grainy. Would it work better in black and white?
Freeman Eagle Mosaic by Gary Merrick, 19 points.
Maury says, cute image. Needs to open up the eyes more for us to see her better. Colors and framing, overall composition are good.
Harlequin by Richard Ader, 24 points, third place.
Pete's comment, good print quality. Why would you crop the front leg? Place the art on front of the straight lines of the building, or on the left side of the image adds nothing.
Lead a Horse to Water by Bryant Mohammed, 20 points.
Keith says it's a great shot. The contrast between the small person and large landscape is dramatic. The left two-thirds of the image is more interesting. Photography is a subtractive art. Take away until you are left with the important elements to tell the story. Is it necessary to complete the bridge? Is that the principal element? Or is it the guy and the rocky hill in the background?
Lone Fisherman by Mike Kopkis, 22 points.
Maury says, good detailed image with nice separation of flower from the modeled background. Colors, vibrance of good level.
Red and Purple by Marge Brady, 22 points.
Pete's comment, nice study of different buildings. A touch of color in the foreground gives the image footing. Good exposure. I like the sky. Soft lighting under a clear sky is good.
Rock Hall by DJ Casanidi, 22 points.
Great shot, Keith says. I love the simplicity. 3 elements. Bird in sharp detail, sky nicely blurred, steel and concrete base with interesting texture, but not competing with the bird. 3 elements, organic, inorganic, gaseous.
Rock and Roll Gull by Rick Mills, 22 points.
Maurice says, good composition of a tough scene. Crop and angles all well done. Good lighting and details. Good work.
Room with a View by Dan Sandy, 25 points, second place.
Pete's comment? This industrial image is very good. I would have lowered the camera just a little. Foreground has good impact. Maybe a wider lens on the camera.
Stokes Library View by Ron Werman, 25 points, second place.
Keith says the size and majesty of the bird is powerful. I'd consider enlarging it even more to fill the space and to make the fish more prominent. The fish is an important part of the story. The detail is excellent.
Take Out Lunch by Belinda Prince, 24 points, third place.
Maurice says, well lit and good definition of horse versus the background. Love seeing the hairs at the edge of the ears. Good capture and rendering.
Terry's Favorite Horse by Fran Marino, 23 points.
Pete says, if I had a print of this, I would hang it in the lobby in any office or home. Great piece of art. Good eye. Frost is perfect for a great image.
The First Frost by Bill Keaton, 24 points, third place.
Keith says foreboding, cold, hostile, unwelcome, primeval. This shot does an excellent job of presenting the last place I want to visit. Well done. The blue tone is perfect.
Tufa Sunrise by Bob Kowaleski, 26 points, first place.
Maurice says, nice scene. Interesting to see if the maker wanted to emphasize the overall scene or the 2 people. If the latter, I would crop the around them and the house behind them. Works either way.
Young Fisherman of Oquatstut by Jackie Sayeski, 25 points, second place. And that concludes the competition. I'll hand this over to